All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I'm kind of liking this, um, I'm kind of liking this, um, hearing versus listening, or like comparison, um, videos. I feel like, um, it gives a purpose to why I'm doing YouTube videos. Um, so today I want to talk about the difference between hearing and listening. Um, I like this. Um, I like this comparison here. It's very simple. And basically, if you can notice the main difference, it's that hearing just kind of happens, right? If you have like any capacity to hear, then you can hear. Like you can hear things, right? Like you can just hear things even if you didn't want to, right? And so with listening, what's happening is that you're getting a bit more purpose about this. And yeah, so that's it. That's it, right? So, um, if you have to go through any like hearing assessment and stuff, um, for like people like us who are trained in uh, like in language learning, language teaching more than uh, hearing in terms of like clinic, like on a clinical level. Um, we try to get people to focus like when they're listening, like when you're doing a second language listening or something like that, right? I feel like because we studied like ESL teaching along with like hearing, or what do you call it, like along with people who are studying speech therapy and learning how to do clinical work. When I was teaching ESL, I feel like I was okay with the learners kind of doing more hearing than listening, and I think that might have been annoying for my coworkers, like um, who were looking for maybe like results, like like language learning results. So that's something to keep in mind if you ever get into applied linguistics and take this route or that route. Um, I feel like you just have to know what you're entering, like any learning, like any work related to this field. Like you need to know how you are, like what you're bringing to the table, and as much as you can, the people who might be learning from you need to know like what you are, also know like what you're, where you're coming from. If there is like an unclear communication at some level with this kind of stuff, yeah, so then when you see results, or when they see results, they might not understand, why, like with you, they're getting this kind of result, if this makes sense, right? Um, so I think that's all I wanted to say about this. Sorry that the video is not very prepared for, like, you know, um, sorry for not sounding very professional, I guess, at this point, but I'm sure you'll get something out of this. And that's it. I don't know what else I want to say about this. I just have time with my hands because it's Sunday evening where I am. And when I was preparing for this video, I was like thinking how compartmentalized like health is. Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah, so yeah, I was thinking about how compartmentalized health services are. And um I don't know. Like I really don't know if this is good or bad. I just feel like because it's that way, I think for adults, the situation is that if you are hoping to find someone to help you with your health and keeping it as, how do you say this, like as um, private as possible, with areas where like you have to get referrals for different parts of your body, things like that. I feel like um, really, okay, I really have to say it like this, but you basically have to honestly turn to Allah and um, make dua um, that He heals you holistically. um, because like the team that you find that's going to help you, like that team, depend like you are the person kind of responsible to have your team together, right? um and I feel like that's why sometimes if you have to go to a hospital, like things get traumatizing because honestly what I notice about hospitals is that they're, yeah, you see a hospital, but basically there are so many different companies there. And honestly, like things change every day, right? So, um, as you grow, depending how mindful you are of what's going on in a health facility, like things might get worse for you. And I don't, I know smiling right now, it's not really funny, but it's not funny. It's not, a positive thing. But once you realize that, you can possibly do something about it. Um, and yeah, it's just like when I was younger, I used to think that hospitals are one entity, right? But people are getting hired and fired every day. People are like, how do you say this? Like people are, um, yeah, people are getting hired and fired every day. People are, uh, coming to work or not coming to work, right? So you're like, and also, in places where, the caregivers don't speak your first language, um, that can also be an issue because you have to rely on people who don't speak your language. And so, yeah, so I just feel like places where, if you do come as a patient, um, you um, need to uh, be as involved as possible, like with your um, be as involved as possible with your progress and healing. It's not easy, but it's better than um, completely losing your health and focus and, you know, become someone else's full, like, responsibility, right? Because if you fall in the wrong hands, then you just won't, like, um, you, I don't know how to explain this, you won't get the results that you need in order to go back to the kind of health that you had before, right? You might really change in a way that's not what you expected. So yeah, um, with again with back to hearing and listening and language stuff. Um, I feel like um, you are the only person who can look at your health holistically. No one else can do that. Um, right? Like you're the only one who sees the full picture and knows the full picture. No one else does know that. Um, and yeah, um, with um, this kind of interaction between hearing and listening, um, I guess one thing to keep in mind holistically in this sense is that um, no matter how much we try to understand like body cells and people are talking about the body and like everybody has their own kind of theories about what the body's doing and what the cells do and what the cells comprise of and body systems this and that. um, you can still be a bit realistic and say that you listen and you hear because you have you have your ears and they have mechanisms for hearing, right? um, and I feel like people who say, oh, like other parts of your body hear like what's going on. I guess what I'm trying to say is like the way people talk about the body, like every health practitioner talks about the body in their own way. Um, but I feel like there's a practical side to the body, which is that you know different organs do different things, right? So I'm just gonna different organs do different things, and um, your full well-being is the system that you create in your life, right? Like the system that you know like is as synergetic as possible. That's synergetic, is that a word? um your um you know, everything about you, like your physical well-being, your social well-being and stuff, like um and all that stuff, right? So um when something is off, like in your body, um so you can approach it with curiosity and know that even though like you'll have appointments to see people to help you out, um, these appointments are milestones. Like definitely still go to them, but healing happens when healing happens, right? Like that's something I'm learning, that no health worker can say to you, "Oh, you haven't healed yet." And what it is that, since you were born, like the way that you've been raised, all of it is a factor in when healing happens. Yeah. So it's not information that a doctor gives you, it's not just medicine, it's not just do this, do that. It's not just, you know, like chill with your friends, go for a walk. It's not like that, right? Like health is not like that. Health, it's compartmentalized only because, you know, part of your team is um a human specialist. But yeah, part of your healing is that the that there's an involvement of another human. um but as humans, um we're not god. Like we're not god, so we're bound to do the right thing and do the wrong thing, right? So I feel like I've learned that healing is that, like healing is that ing is so important, because I don't think that there's I don't know, I don't think that this lifetime has 100% health. Like I don't know, since you were born, like you have used a lot of your energy and time, and you've given it here and there. So I don't know if it can be a goal to like say you want to be 100% healthy. And if you do, because like if you say you want to be 100% healthy, basically what's going to happen is that every day of your life is going to look different. And every day of your life you're going to spend with different people, different places, right? Like accepting that change is the only constant thing in the world. And that might be an issue for people who have had very like rigid routines, right? Um, because if you have rigid routines, but the body changes, right? Like the body changes all the time. So if your body's changing all the time, but you're trying to stick to a rigid routine, what's happening, right? What's happening is that you're causing your body to adapt to your rigid routine. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna try to stop, like try to like end this video soon. Um, but yeah, like I think about these things only because um I don't know. I come from a background of people and tribes and stuff who uh tend to compartmentalize health and stuff and well-being. Um so I don't know. It's just like it's something my mind is grappling with. I don't know if that's the right word, but my mind is grappling with um, health, like me specializing in linguistics, applied linguistics, and that rabbit hole because I know that I can like it would benefit compartmentalized uh systems to know like, oh, you can come to Nadia for, you know, applied linguistic stuff. Um, but I feel like, now that I'm like, oh, I'm a human too, and I have health too, and like my health is changing, it's up and down and this and that. So I'm like, oh, I don't know how to say this, but sometimes you think like, oh, maybe I should have studied medicine. Because then, you'll kind of look at the body as a whole. But I don't know, like being my age now, like, I don't think that I'd want to study medicine. I don't know if I want to, like, you know, like go back to school and study medicine. I don't know if I want to do that. Um, maybe, maybe that's where I'm supposed to be heading, but I don't know if I would be able to like sit in a classroom where, they're teaching stuff about medicine and saying, this is how you heal this. I'm gonna be like, really though? Is that really how you, you know what I mean? Because like at this point, like we kind of already kind of have the full capacity of critical thinking. So it's too critical at this point. So I don't know if I'm going to be passing classes or if I'm going to be failing because of like the really though, mentality. Okay, I need to stop this video seriously. Okay, let's end with this because we need to have some kind of like direction, right? Um, all right. We know in life we need to learn and unlearn, okay? But there's a process to do that. And maybe I would recommend that. I guess my recommendation would be, like, I don't know, for like as adults, it's really hard to say, I'm only going to take one course at a time. Because then you, I don't know, like you get either bored or you get um it's not enough like as part of a routine when you're used to like going to different classes before. So I think maybe what can work would be to know which combo of classes would work. This makes sense? Yeah, like like if you say, all right, I need to like go back to school, like learning or school or whatever. I think if you can uh, find the right combo of classes that would make the end of the day a good ending, right? I'll tell you why. Because like when I was like going along with um, applied linguistics, and they always recommend that, oh, so this is your field. So like you want to learn about like other languages and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take, for example, like French, Arabic, and Italian, right? That was such a bad idea because I was just not able to focus. And I couldn't tell if it was like the class that I wasn't able to focus, like because of the teacher, or because I was just taking the wrong combo of classes. And that's what it is, right? Because, like, let's just say it like this, like public education and even private education for that matter, like, you can have an interest in a topic, right? And stuff, but you can never really control who's teaching like that information. Like, they might be good or bad, yeah. So there's these limitations, right? So like um I'd say just have combos of classes that make sense. Like make sense at the end of the day, so that, for example, like I wouldn't take French, Italian, Arabic all at the same time. Maybe especially because we don't, like, these are all things you don't know, right? So it's stressful maybe. And yeah, I don't know, it's just in general, yeah. um yeah, as well, like I wouldn't take molecular biology with molecular physics with molecular this, right? Like, come on, right? Like, need to kind of stay, uh I don't know, kind of stay balanced, like with what you're learning. um and I'm saying this because it's so great sometimes, like being in areas in the world where there's a lot of knowledgeable people. There's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of, I don't know, specialized people and doctors, this and that, whatever, people who know a lot about their fields and stuff. But I feel like they don't even, if you have the chance to reflect, like, I don't know if everybody has the chance to reflect when they're in their field, right? They could just be overdoing it. Like, you don't need to know the moleculars of everything. You need to know how to have a balanced day. Um, and what was I gonna say? Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, like for people who talk about like healthy eating, at some point you're like, okay, calm down. Like, you know, healthy eating, first of all, is eating, right? So, people who talk about eating, um, like what you should eat, it's like, you know, they, you might listen to too much of that and then get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not even eating, right? Like, all right, I'm gonna end the video here. Masalama.